Hello, 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 yogi family. I hope you are well. My name is Amy, if you have not met me before. And we're going to get moving through a nice 20-minute practice. So when you are ready, coming into hands and knees, tabletop position. Take a moment here, drawing those knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders, and just take a few moments to work through the wrists. So just moving your hands around in different directions. Keep thinking about really spreading the fingers and grounding through the knuckles. And find different ways to place your hands across the mat. Take up space. Find different distributions of weight across the hands, on the back of the hands. Drawing the fingers forward, leaning forward. We're just working through the wrists. Leaning back, have a little play. Lovely, we'll take a couple more moments just exploring our wrists here. And then we'll come back through center. Wonderful. Let's find some cat-cows. You can have the toes tucked under or pressing into the tops of the feet, either one. Inhale, we'll drop the belly, create this arch in the spine. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale, we'll press away from the floor, round through the back. Draw that chin into the chest. Inhale, let's drop the belly, create that arch. Create some curve in the spine. Exhale, let's round, press away from the floor. Inhaling, marrying up breath and movement here. Finding that round as you exhale. Now taking 3 more rounds of breath and exploring anything else that feels good here. So any other realm of movement. Any sways, any circles in the torso. And we have 1 more round of breath. Wonderful. Finding that neutral spine, and take a moment to untuck the toes, pop the hips back to the heels, and find a child's pose balasana. Now maybe you find your hands crawling forward. Maybe you prefer them to draw back towards the heels. Resting the forehead and finding your own version here. So your knees can be close together. You can separate the knees a little wider if that feels better. Just take a few moments connecting that forehead to the floor, or a block, or a cushion. And find a few moments of breath here. Conscious breathing. Acknowledging you're inhaling when you're inhaling. You're exhaling when you're exhaling. We're going to walk those hands all the way out to the left. And we may need to lift up and over that left thigh to get a little more length through that right side body. So maybe that right hand comes on top of the left as we draw that right hip back. And we soften through the shoulders, we soften through the head and neck. And we breathe into that right side body here. Again, finding those conscious breaths, acknowledging your inhales, acknowledging your exhales. Taking 1 more here. Beautiful. Nice and slowly coming back through center. And we'll explore the right side. So hands draw out to the right. Try not to ruin any plants. Maybe left hand on top of the right here, drawing that left hip back. And breathing into that left side body, softening shoulders, head and neck. Conscious breaths. I'm inhaling when I'm inhaling. I'm exhaling when I'm exhaling. Taking 1 more here. Now if you're coming back through center. And slowly making your way back into your tabletop position. We will untuck those toes. We'll take a few moments hovering those knees a couple of inches off the mat. So begin to lift the knees off the floor. Really spread the fingers, ground the knuckles, come you round through that upper back, press away from the floor, draw that tailbone under, hug the belly in. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, lift the hips nice and high, coming up into your downward facing dog. First of the sessions, just take a few moments establishing your pose. Maybe finding any realms of movement that feel good, pedaling out the legs, working through the hips, maybe playing with the distance of hands and feet. Tap into that conscious breath. Can we create some space for the head and neck? Draw those shoulders away from the ears. Lovely. And we're going to play with a couple of hip openers here. So as we inhale, we're going to lift that right leg nice and high and stack that right hip on top of the left. Draw that heel into the bottom, knee towards the ceiling, gazing underneath that left armpit. We'll take an inhale here. And exhale, we're going to find a really soft, light pigeon. So drawing that right knee behind the crease of the right wrist and drawing that left leg out just slightly. We'll take an inhale here. Find some lift in the chest, lightness in the fingers, and exhale, we'll bow over that front right leg. Soften the forehead. Lovely, untuck the left toes. We're going to come back into that 3-legged dog. Press into the hands. Draw that right hip back on top of the left. Heel into the bottom, knee to the ceiling. Gazing under that left armpit. Inhaling here. And again, coming back into that light pigeon. Drawing that right knee behind the crease of the right wrist. Draw that left leg out. Find some inhale, some space in the chest. Find some inhale. And bow over that right leg. Exhale. Soften the forehead. Again, prepping. We'll do this one more time. Untucking left toes. Let's press into the hands and draw that right hip back on top of the left. Take a breath in here. Press that knee to the ceiling. And exhale, let's find our way back into that pigeon. Lovely. Take an inhale. Create some lightness in the chest. Lightness in the fingers. And exhale, we'll bow. Lovely. Take an extra breath here. And we'll untuck the left toes. And we'll find our way back into that 3-legged dog last time. Opening up that hip. Drawing that heel to the bottom. Gazing onto that left armpit. Take a big breath in. And then we're going to draw that right leg all the way through. Plant the foot inside of the right hand. And soften to the left knee. Untuck the toes. Wonderful. So become nice and light on the fingers. There's an openness in the chest. Working into that left hip flexor here. Take an inhale. As we exhale, we're going to draw the hips back, crawl the hands as we work into that right hamstring, toes towards the shin. Now we'll find this relationship with breath and movement. Inhales draw you forward, find that lightness in the fingers, leaning into that left hip flexor. And exhales, we'll draw ourselves back. Taking 2 more rounds like this. Moving with your breath at your own pace. Coming into our last round. Lovely, we'll meet back in that low lunge. We'll frame that right foot, plant both hands, untuck the left toes, and we'll draw that right leg back to meet the left downward facing dog. Take a few moments, pedal this out. Notice any differences maybe in that right side in comparison to the left. Lovely. We're going to do all the same on the left side. Inhale, let's lift that left leg, and we're going to stack that left hip without killing any plants over the right. So heel into the bottom, knee towards the ceiling, and we'll gaze underneath that right armpit this time. Take a big breath in. And we'll draw that left knee behind the crease of the left wrist, finding that soft pigeon. Drawing that right leg out a little. Take an inhale, nice and light on the fingers, lifting the chest. And exhale, we'll bow over that front left leg. Maybe the forehead rests. You can have a block here too. Untucking the right toes. We're going to press into the hands and draw that left hip all the way back on top of the right. Pressing that knee to the ceiling, finding your 3-legged dog, gazing underneath underneath that right armpit. Take a big breath in. And exhale, we're going to come back to that pigeon. 2 more times like this. Find that lightness. Take an inhale here. And exhale, we'll bow. Soften that forehead. And then we'll untuck the right toes and we'll come back in. 1 more. Opening up that left hip. Knee to the ceiling, heel to the bottom. Take a big breath in. And exhale, we'll draw it all the way back in. Finding that pigeon pose. Last time here, inhale. And exhale, we'll bow forward. We can take an extra breath here. Lovely. Untucking the right toes, we'll come back into that 3-legged dog. So stacking that left hip on top of the right. Let's see if we can open it a little more. Maybe gazing under that right armpit a little further. Square off those shoulders. Kick that head into the bottom. Big breath in. And slowly let's draw that left leg all the way through, planting it inside of the left hand. Soften to the right knee and tuck the toes. Lovely. Exploring that hip flexor opener and the hamstring. So take an inhale, nice and light in the fingers again, lifting through the chest. Exhale, we'll crawl ourselves back, hips draw back, left toes towards the shin, left hip back here. Now marrying up breath and movement. Find your own rhythm. Inhales draw you forward, exhales draw you back. Stay nice and active in that left foot. We'll take 1 more here. Lovely. We'll meet back into that low lunge. Framing that foot, untucking the right toes and drawing yourself back into your downward facing. Take a moment, pedal that out. We'll bring the feet hip width distance. We'll take a big inhale, lift nice and high. Balls of the feet, stretch your toes. Exhale, drop the heels, sigh the breath, let it go. 2 more like this. Inhale, nice and high, balls of the feet. Exhale, release. Any way that feels good. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Walking those hands back towards the toes, folding forward at the back of your mats. We'll bring a strong bend into the knees, head is heavy, arms are heavy. Maybe we'll just take a few moments to find a bit of a sway, nod the head up and down, shake it left and right. I'm really in the plants right now. Lovely. Then really, really slowly, we're going to rebuild the spine, stacking each vertebrae on top of the other. So take your time to do this here. Strong bend in the knees, head is heavy, arms are heavy. We stack each vertebrae on top of the other, nice and slowly. Really let everything be heavy, let everything hang. Take your time. And once your gaze eventually lifts, maybe roll through those shoulders a couple of times. Bring any shake into the body. Fix your clothes up maybe. Wonderful. Okay. Walking towards the front of your mats. And we'll ground through those heels here and let those arms just float up towards the ceiling. So really nice and organically here, just let them float. Feel those heels ground and draw that tailbone under. Notice if there's any arching in the back and the ribs are drawing forward. Can we hug it all in? Take a breath here. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the left. So your left arm will come back and your right arm will come forward as we gaze at the left thumb, keeping those hips nice and square facing the front of the room. Inhale, we'll come back through center. Exhale, we'll twist to the right, right arm back, left arm forward, gazing at the right thumb. Spread those fingers nice and active in the hands. Inhale back through center. 1 more time each side. Exhale to the left. Inhale back through center. Exhale to the right. Inhale back through center. We'll find a few cactusing of the arms. So bend those elbows, squeeze those shoulder blades together, spread the fingers, lift the chest and the chin. Create those circles, let those arms come all the way back up. Inhale. Exhale, big circles, cactus the arms. We'll take one more like this. Inhale. Exhaling. Now if you let your arms float down by your sides, take a moment here, big breath in. Big breath out. Hands come together, heart center. Inhaling here. Exhale, hands by the sides. Inhale, let's reach up, sweep up, find that length. Maybe even adding a gentle back bend. Really be safe here with your lower back. Squeeze the glutes, push the hips forward. Exhale, folding forward. Uttanasana, releasing head and neck. Inhale up halfway, hands to the shins. Create length in the spine, lean into the toes. Exhale, plant the hands, right leg will come back, high on the ball of the foot. Nice distance between the legs. And then we'll sweep those arms forward, create some length, really kick into that back right heel. Then find that rotation in the hips, finding your crescent lunge. Now if you take an inhale here, exhale, soften those shoulders. Let's take a moment to suss out the legs, squeezing the glutes. Notice how active you want them to be. Take another breath in. And exhale, we're going to plant that back foot 45 degrees as we extend the arms out into Virabhadrasana Warrior 2. Relax those shoulders, strong bend in that front left leg. And we're going to inhale, lengthen that front left leg as we reach the arms up. And then as we exhale, turn the palms down as if you're creating your own resistance, maybe pressing through water. We come back into that Warrior 2. Inhale, let's draw it all up, straighten through that front left leg. Exhale, bend back in. Last time, inhale. Finding that relationship with breath and movement, exhale. Arms can stay where they are. We straighten back up through that front left leg. We're going to reach and lean out as far as we can out over that left leg. Until we've reached as far as we can reach, we can soften that left arm down, reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling, finding your triangle pose, Trikonasana. Really pressing into the knife edge of that back right foot, drawing that right hip back. Use the strength of your core to find some lift. Breathing, acknowledging you're inhaling when you're inhaling. You're exhaling when you're exhaling. Taking one more here. Now, let's reach that right arm all the way back up. And we'll bend back into that front left leg. Take an inhale. And exhale, we'll pivot on that back right foot as we draw that right arm back up, finding your crescent lunge again. So now both toes are facing forward. Take a breath in. And exhale, we'll frame that front left foot. Left leg will come back to meet the right in our plank pose. Nice and active. Lift up through the kneecaps, draw that tailbone under, take a breath in. And we can lower knees and chest. We can find chaturanga. Either way, our elbows will hug the body. Inhale, let's find our up facing or low cobra. Maybe you find that your knees are off the floor. Shoulders draw back. Take a breath in. And exhale, we'll lift the hips nice and high. Take a big breath in here. Big breath out. Right leg will rise, kick the heel, squeeze the glute, and we'll draw that leg all the way through. Plant the foot inside of the right hand. And find that distance between the legs, high on the ball of the left foot. We'll sweep those arms forward first. Kick into that back left heel. And then we'll find that rotation in the hips, finding your crescent lunge. Soften those shoulders, take a breath in. Exhale, soften and deepen a little more. Check in with those legs, notice how they feel. Make any adjustments here. Take another breath in. And exhale, we're going to plant that back right foot, back left foot, 45 degrees. Extend those arms, find your Warrior 2. Soften those shoulders, strong bend in that front right leg. Now we're going to find those movements, straightening up through that front right leg as the palms face the ceiling. Inhale, straighten. Find that reach. Create that resistance, palms press down, bend back into that front right leg. Warrior 2. 2 more like this, inhale. Exhaling. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Lovely, arms stay where they are. Let's straighten up through that front right leg. Lift up through the kneecap. Make sure you don't lock out that knee. Shift those hips to the back of the room. We'll lean out as far as we can over that front right leg till we can't lean anymore and we find our triangle pose, Trikonasana. Left arm to the ceiling, right arm to the inside of the right leg or a block. And really press into the knife edge of that back left foot here. Draw that left hip back. Feel that rotation of the chest up towards the ceiling. Breathing. Acknowledging your inhales and your exhales. We'll take one more here. Navi. Let's reach that left arm up. Bend back into that right leg. This time we're going to draw those right toes forward as we find a wide-legged fold, arms out to the sides, toes in, heels out. Take a big breath in, create and take up as much space as you can. Big inhale. And exhale slowly in whatever way feels good, folding forward. Find your full wide-legged fold. Let the head and neck relax. Take any option here, maybe clasping opposite elbows, maybe interlacing hands behind the back, drawing the arms overhead. If we take that option, please remember to draw those shoulder blades away from the ears. Create more space for the head and neck. Maybe you want to find a little movement and get a little loosey-goosey here, making this your own. We'll explore 3 more rounds of breath. Taking your last round of breath here. Lovely. Grounding the hands and coming to frame that front right foot. We'll move through our last vinyasa. Find your plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Take a few moments. And whenever you're ready, lowering the knees to the floor, taking your version of your child's pose, whether it was knees closer together or knees a little wider, hands out in front or hands wrapping round towards the heels. Forehead can be on the floor, cushion, block. Allow everything to soften. Acknowledging you're inhaling when you're inhaling. You're exhaling when you're exhaling. A few more moments here. Lovely. If your hands are back down by your feet, just draw them back forward. And using your hands, head is the last thing to rise, to crawl yourself up to a kneeling position. Let the head rise slowly. We'll just take a moment here. If this is a really uncomfortable position for your feet or your ankles, just shift your hips and come to a comfortable seat on your bottoms. And just maybe closing the eyes, you're welcome to have them open too. Just allow those shoulders to really relax here. Okay, so palms up or palms down. And we'll find 3 final breaths here. Now it might be nice if the palms are down and you can use the force of the hands and the thighs to press the shoulders to the ears. But the same can be done with the palms up also. So whenever you're ready, squeezing those shoulders up to the ears as you inhale. As you exhale, let that go. Let your shoulders relax. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. And exhale, letting that go. Wonderful. Take any time that you need after your practice here today. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. You know what to do if you did. And I really hope to see you soon.